to the final episode of After the After Hours with your boy TraderPrad. The final day of this week is tomorrow going to be a free fall Friday. Now get ready for tomorrow. Papa Powell going on the microphone. Papa Powell going on the microphone again. Get ready for tomorrow. So I do have a watch list ready, but if you guys are ready, hit that like and subscribe. Hit that like and subscribe. Thank you guys for all the love. Thank you guys for all the support. This is your boy TraderPrad. TraderPrad. But if you guys are ready for this show to get started, why don't we dive into the full screen and hit that like and subscribe. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to, I think, sadly, the final stream of the week. Yes, it is. It's Thursday. I didn't know if it was Thursday or not, but it is. So, final stream of the week. Tomorrow, Friday, May 2nd. And tonight, we had the last few big names that we were looking to see how they would actually report. So, Apple, Amazon, you could even throw in a sprinkle of MicroStrategy in there if you really want to, but the main two big ones after Tesla, Netflix, Google, all Meta, Microsoft, all of them reporting. The last two ones was Apple and Amazon, and they have come out with their report. And the move is, sadly, if the title was not a giveaway already, the move is to the downside. So both of them selling off and not looking so good, bringing the market down potentially to the downside also. I know the market was green for the most part of the day. Not sure if we actually end flat, because actually that'd be pretty funny if we end flat. We're still ending green, but we did pull back drastically, and you can see how we broke low a day going into the close and into the after hours. Almost a similar move from yesterday, but the opposite direction, right? Similar move from yesterday in the opposite direction. And really quick, the second period of the Toronto Maple Leafs and Ottawa Senators is starting, and it's 1-0. Okay, that's good. So I'm liking what I'm seeing over there. Dieter's in the house. What's up, Dieter? How you doing, buddy? We are just getting started talking about the market and all other fun stuff. Before we do that, it is time to talk about my trades on the day first. Obviously, if you guys follow me or are in contact with me throughout the day, you know that my day was not a good one at all. I'm not sure what happened today. No excuses, but I completely I don't know what happened. I just completely did everything wrong that I could off the open. I wasn't trading the setups. I was trading more feelings and ideas, not really setups. I was like, oh, I think this got a hold because it held once. And I was like, okay, let's just try to get in long over here for no reason. And I did that a bunch of times today. Robinhood over here right off the open. You guys remember You know how much did we score already in this first like. Wow, that's sick. We scored already. It's 19-17. The second period just started and it's already 2-0. Let's go Maple Leafs. Anyways, you know, you guys remember how I was looking at that $50 area. 51 was actually the level on the daily chart, but I was looking at that $50 area for multiple days. When it pulled back into 50 and then looked like it was going to bounce and go back through 50, I got long multiple times, and each time I got stopped out and I kept losing on that one. I was like, what am I doing here? This is not a setup. I'm just randomly doing you know, stupidity. There's no setup here at all to get long, and I'm just trying to get lucky. Eventually found a setup where I could have quickly scalped a long, which I did, and then much better setup over here actually, where you get a way better long later on. But passing up on that one because at this point I'm already tilted. I'm not really trading right. I also did the same thing on Meta over here that I did on Hood off the open, and my biggest loss today was actually KIDZ. No setup over here at all. Just kind of getting short just to get short, but you know, the actual setup was to get short on the opening range breakdown after 9:45, and it's not even 9:45 and I'm already full position short here and risking it to the high day. Like, what am I doing? I'm not sure at all. I can't answer it. Just doing random shit today, and you know the phrase play silly games and get silly results or win silly prizes. That's exactly what happened today, right? Played silly games and won silly prizes. Later on, kind of FOMO'd myself after getting stopped out into some longs, but I never really traded that properly. If you actually look at how the stock traded itself, it holds the 9 EMA all the way up to these prices. So you could have picked it up from the 9 EMA over here around $3 and rode it up to $4 or something. You could have picked it up from VWAP later on and rode it back up to $4. Nice little cup and handle over here. I tried the long and I don't really take profits because I'm trying to see if I can get a much bigger trade out of this one, trying to see if I can get lucky. So, you know, some positions where I do trade setups later on in the day, which kind of helped me cut the loss by a little bit. But overall, just like, what am I doing? No setup over here, and giving it the full risk, like the most size I've had probably on a small cap, or the most risk I've probably given on a small cap stock without a setup, and then just FOMOing and kind of shitting the bed on the long before the range low even kind of breaks over here, and not having when the long actually firms up. So a bunch of just absolute non-logical trades from that side today. Roblox over here had my charts missing, had a very tight range around 69 to 70, so I figured 70 breakout could be something to keep an eye on. Doesn't really have too much momentum on that side. IBIT was looking for a Bitcoin move up. That one doesn't do too much. Microsoft was looking for a move up above VWAP. That one kind of fails, but my manager said he's okay with this trade because he also took this one. CEP, just doing random shit. I was like, okay, like there's the support over here. Maybe I can get lucky by just slipping in the bids and see if I can get a move to the upside instead of just waiting for the VWAP dip, which is right to the downside over here. So, you know, it's just today. No excuses. Once again, it's just horrible trading all across the board. There was one real good trade that I had today, which was this Meta trade. This one was a good trade, and I believe if the market had some real juice to keep going up, probably didn't because it gapped up quite a bit. But if the market did have some juice to keep going higher, I think Meta could have. This was the trade that was actually helping me. You know, I was red as F. And this was a trade that was cutting my day by 50%. I was making back quite some money with this trade, but then later on in the day, other trades automatically got me right back to the red as I was, and a little bit more. So pretty sad with my performance today. For sure landed at the bottom range of my performance scale, performance meter. You know, sometimes you gotta go through these days right here. Fuck around and find out, right? Sometimes you gotta go through these days and these performance cycles. It's sad that it happens right after like one of your best days. Like yesterday was my second best day of the year. Today was my worst day of the year. So it absolutely sucks that it sets up like that. Gut wrenching and you know you're oh my god, they almost scored on the Maple Leafs. Gut wrenching, but at least we know where the mistake was, right? Or I know where the mistake was, which is not trading setups, just going out and just trading random feelings and trading random ideas. All I had to do was be patient and look for a setup on any of these trades, and I would have had it, right? For example, I could have easily avoided that short because that's not in my playbook. My playbook is to wait for a failed pre-market high break. Guess what? It never failed a pre-market high break. My other setup is an opening range breakdown after 9:45. Opening range being you're getting below the first 5-minute candle after 9:45. So guess what? It never did that after 9:45. So my two setups to get short right there are not even triggering an entry criteria. So what do? Not get into a trade and take that big of a loss as I did right off the open. Just idiotic. Just thinking that I'm a small cap god now because I've had some small cap wins, and just pushing position and pushing size and trying to see if this could be one of those 75% where small caps go down. But today, the two small caps that were on board, both of them went higher, actually rocketed to the high side. One of them being Zcar and the other one was KIDZ. So yeah, those were the two names that were really in play. But you know, I have to wash my mouth a little bit, give myself a shower also. I was looking for a down day. Not necessarily. I'm pretty sure I was long in some positions too, but it just you know, I just didn't have setups. None of these were setups. Like I'm okay with giving you guys my small cap setup, right? People are always worried about edge erosion. I'm okay with giving it to you. It's a failed pre-market breakout high or an opening range breakdown after 9:45, and neither of those setups. So why am I fully positioned here, right? That's absolutely stupidity. If I wasn't fully positioned and taking the loss I did here, then I potentially could have found a long in this area. Let's actually pull up the chart and go to KIDZ. My indicator is on, and right there you can see how that's 9:45. 9:45 low is 216, and the opening range low, the opening low since the day's open is 213. So it never broke the opening range low basically after 9:45. Also, the 21 EMA is higher than the range low. This is something that my manager pointed out. It's going to be also a nuance that I'm going to keep an eye out for. Ideally, you want to see the 21 EMA a little bit higher or above the opening range low. That way, the breakdown has a little bit more probability. Just a little nuance that he pointed out for me. But notice how stock never broke pre-market high and pulled back, right? Never broke pre-market high and pulled back. What it did is break pre-market high and keep climbing higher even in the after hours. So right here, somewhere here, potentially could have looked for a long. Right here at the VWAP retracement, potentially could have looked for a long. High a day breakout right into $4, $6. Here's you move into $8.50. Very similar to the Lance setup, the Lance one Lance B setup, where the small cap is almost like a cup and handle from VWAP bounce. You know, and the high day breakout, very similar setup over here. These patterns, I mean, they are beautiful and very easy to trade. all you have to do is situate yourself in them. There was a long here that I was trying to capture, but you guys saw how I traded that one, that long. I traded that one poorly, very, very poorly. I just traded today poorly as a whole. But tomorrow, right back on top of the horse, looking for setups and only trading setups and smashing the setups, right? Hopefully, I'm not being scared tomorrow and taking less size because I started my month off on a nice red note. But let's look for setups and stay with the same sizing, stay with the same killer mentality that we had going into today, and not get the tail tucked between my legs tomorrow. After today's performance, let's show you guys the watch list for tomorrow that I have prepared. I know some of you have already mentioned a couple stocks for me to take a look at, but I'm pretty sure those stocks are already on my watch list. For example, Barky. Hi Barky, how you doing? Barky saying TA on Reddit, Meta, and Microsoft. Obviously, those names are on my watch list. What's going on over here? Amazon fell. Yes, indeed, sir. Yes, Prad, this is your last show for 3 days. Whoa, what do you mean? And Ottawa just scored. God damn it. What do you mean 3 days? Is the market closed on Monday? Don't tell me that. I want to cry. I mean, I won't. I'll gladly take a day off, but I'm going to cry. What is it? NYSE market holidays. It's not a 3-day holiday. It's not a 3-day holiday. Why would you say it's a last show for 3 days? What? Pretty sure we're gonna come back Monday. 1, 2, 3. I guess. Oh, Saturday, Sunday. I'm stupid. I'm stupid. I'm stupid. I'm stupid. All right, coming back to the watch list. I started Trade Ideas. Now Trade Ideas is gonna open up. Give Trade Ideas a second. Until then, you guys can take a look at the watch list. A couple stocks over here. Now, some of them you can recognize: Apple, Amazon. Along with them, you have Airbnb, Reddit, Team, FIVN, RIOT, MSTR. All of them reporting earnings. A couple stocks that reported earnings today already, such as Roblox, CVS, Microsoft, Meta. A couple stocks that reported earnings last night or sometime during the week. Qualcomm, Robinhood, and then we have the large cap stocks and some of the other not large cap but very important AI / technology stock. Palantir also in the watch list. SMCI also on the watch list over there. And we're gonna possibly find more stocks using our friend over here. Can't forget CEP, right? Can't forget CEP. That stock always needs to be on the watch because whenever that backside opens up, you want to possibly be ready for that. I'll put that one right there. Anything else that I want to remember? Kids did go higher today. Potentially Kids and what was the other stock? Kids and Zcar. Kids and Zcar. We'll throw these two on the thing too. Kids and Zcar. Okay. So that is the watch list. So let's start with at the top of the board, the one that reported earnings. Amazon. It says down 2%. Probably a pop then, because I remember Amazon going lower, much lower. So a little bit of a pop on Amazon here. But a pop and then selling off right back after that pop, closing a little bit lower than Wednesday's high. Today's Thursday, so Wednesday's high closing a little bit lower than Wednesday's high over here in the after hours. Let's go take a quick sneak peek at the Amazon earnings report using our sponsors for today, which is Benzinga. If you're interested in this awesome tool, Benzinga, which not only is used for news, and I'll have Squawk on every single day from Benzinga when I'm trading. It gives me live news up to date, quicker than actually articles that get posted on the page, obviously, right? Because it's a guy reading it out loud. So Benzinga Pro, if you want to get 10% off, sponsor sponsor for today. Check out my link in the description below. So let's go check out the Amazon's report real quick. Amazon reporting double beat Q2 guidance. CEO focuses on making customers' lives easier and better. What happened? Net sales 155.7, up 9% year over year from 155.4, so not 155.04, so nice beat overall anyways, and a 9% growth year over year. Company reported first quarter earnings per share 1.59 versus estimates of 1.36. North America up 8%, international up 5%, AWS up 17%. Company reported operating income of 18.4, up from 15.3 in the same period last year. North America 5.8, 1.0, 11, so everything looks better. We are pleased with the start. Bunch of comments over there. Did I say video gaming? Where is that? Where'd they go? Video streaming. Okay. Video streaming, that's basically their Amazon Prime stuff. Amazon is guiding for second quarter net sales of 159 billion to 164 billion, up 7 to 11%. Analysts expects the company to have net sales of 160.91 billion in the quarter. The company's forecasting operating income to come in the range of 13.0 to 17.5. That's a big range for the second quarter. Guessing basically because of the tariffs and so on. And not too long ago, we had the press secretary come out and say that Amazon and how Trump is not happy with Amazon. Trump had to call Bezos. I don't think Bezos has anything to do with Amazon anymore, right? Maybe as he's on the board or something, but I'm pretty sure as a day-to-day operations, Bezos has nothing to do with Amazon anymore. So not sure what calling him does. I guess he could still call and be like, add some pressure to it. But anyway, it doesn't matter about all the logistics of how that works out. It's just funny that Trump had to call Bezos to see how the whole tariff situation is playing out on their platform. I think the news was Amazon is going to charge extra tariffs or whatever, tariff fee or something. I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. But at the end of the day, tariffs is not a good news for Amazon, right? A lot of products are probably shipped in from Amazon and then drop shipped and so on. So not good. You're going to see a lot less seller activity. That means a lot less buyer activity. It's just not good news overall. So potential downside coming in if the China and USA deal doesn't work out. And from the rumors and the chatter that I see, it looks like the deal is not going in the right direction between America and China. So, I think we still have another 60 days or maybe less than 60 days now. So if the deal doesn't get solved by then obviously market potentially going right back into bear market, some 200 moving average declining, and all bearish signals getting flared up again, and potential recession conversations sparking up again. You see how quickly recession conversations dulled out, and I remember me getting emails from all of my brokers saying, hey, markets are in turmoil, hey, we could possibly see recession, and all of a sudden nothing about that anymore, right? It's like boom, vanished, markets are back, we're healthy again. But not necessarily. If this China deal doesn't work out, things might get back into scary territories for the long-term holders, and especially anyone who bought now. They're gonna look to dump their positions as quick as they bought these positions. So you want to be careful that you're not the last one left with the bags. So keep be vigilant, be ready with your ears to the news. And once again, shout out to our new sponsor, Benzinga, because you can stay up to date on the news using awesome tools like these. They also have good charting and scanning capabilities if you're interested in that. Okay, Amazon for daily, for a day trade, the move wasn't really as pronounced to the move to the downside. I guess the guidance is what kind of scared investors and pushed it to the downside. Apple obviously pushing lower, and that is coming in and looking weak too, right? Apple looking weak too after it pushed lower. So that is coming in from, I'm potentially guessing, I don't even know, we have to read it, from weakness from their sales. I've been saying this for quite some time. I've been seeing a lot more people switching away from Apple into Android, because Apple have just been rebranding the same piece of cardboard again and again and again for people. So people have been looking to switch over a little bit from Apple, which makes sense, and their sales have been taking a beating too. So all things now playing out. I have to obviously take a look at the report, but what does this mean for Amazon? It just means that Amazon potentially getting dragged down more than it has to because of Apple's move overall. So that's my thesis on it. However, Meta and Microsoft, you saw how they reported well, and they were trying to stay up for the most part. Amazon on the daily chart would be going right back into these ranges. So is that a decline in 200? It's still flat-ish slash declining. So it's almost getting ready to be a declining 200-day average on Amazon. And that's never a good thing, and you never want to be holding your positions as a long trader or as an investor if the 200-day moving average is starting to decline. So watch out for that. The longer we spend down here, the bigger chance of the breakdowns to the downside, and the bigger chance that the 200 EMA actually ends up being a slope to the downside. You can see how the 50-day moving average is already a slope to the downside, so not good indications from the technical aspect over here. For a day trade, I think you still have this 180 level to play with. Are we below 180? We're not below 180 yet. So as long as we're still above 180 tomorrow, as long as Amazon's still above 180 tomorrow, I'm not sure I want to be thinking for a short, right? Because it could easily bounce off of 180 and go back up north. And if we're already above 180 in the pre-market, I'm looking more long on this position than looking to short, because the report's not that bad. They guided high, a little bit wider. Yes, because of the uncertainty, but overall the report wasn't too bad. It was growth across the board, and it's a large cap. But overall, with the market sentiment, possible bearish market coming back into play, and the whole China deal not looking so good at the moment, also might be something to keep an eye about. Keep it like something to keep a note about in the back of your head, right? So that way you're not forcing the long. If the stock is getting sold off, there is no forcing the long. Just join the trend and enjoy the downside move. Apple, another one that's potentially not potentially, for sure getting hurt from the tariff deal, because they have a lot of factories in China, but they are working on moving a lot of factories away from China into America, so that is a good thing for them. Let's read the report here really quick. 95.36 versus 94.53, 1.65 versus 1.63. With Thursday beat, Apple now exceeded. Okay, total revenue up 5% year over year, and earnings share climbed up 8%. Earnings per share climbed 8% year over year. American sales total to 40.31 billion. European sales 24.45. Greater China 16 billion. Japan 7.3, and the rest of Asia Pacific 7.29. Products revenue came in at 68.7, up 66.89 billion. Very slight growth on a year-to-year aspect on product. Services revenue, however, I'm pretty sure is growing much better. 26.65 versus 23.87. Representing a new all-time high on services revenue. Here's a breakdown of products. 46.84 versus 45.96, so a little bit more growth on iPhone sales from same period last year. Mac 7.95 versus 7.45, 6.4 versus 5.56. Variable and home accessories 7.52 versus 7.91. That seems to be dropping off a little bit, which is basically your watches, your AirPods maybe. Do they have home appliances like Siri home appliances or something? I don't know. I've never heard of that, but probably something like that if they do. Apple noted its where's the guidance? Outlook. They don't give guidance anyway, so whatever, Apple. Overall, they are growing year over year, but I'm guessing something regarding the China side is not looking good for investors, and hence they are selling it. Did Roku report earnings too? Oh my god. How much did you sell off? Only 1.3%? Okay, that's not much, but potentially worth adding to the watch list too. Let me quickly go check Roku here. And where is my watch list? Where's the ones that reported earnings today? And you guys know how much I love shorting Roku when it sets up. So coming back to Apple, nice move to the downside already in the after hours from the earnings report. Potentially going towards 200 tomorrow. So that means I want to be ready to participate in that move towards 200. So being, I'm ready to short all pops until it gets back into in these areas. The earnings VWAP is still a little bit higher. So hopefully a pop in the pre-market, and somewhere in this area I get to short for a move into the after hour low, and then next week potentially a move down to 200 if the market's weak and the bearish sentiments kind of pouring back into the overall market. But if it reclaims this little hold that it tried to stay above for a little bit, if it reclaims this area, it's actually like Wednesday's low. So if it reclaims that 206, 207, let's just say, if it reclaims 207 and finds support above 207, then there is no more shorts at all. But if it goes into this 207 area and sets up for some sort of a short tomorrow, I think that's your opportunity for a ride back into 204 as a day trade. So watching Apple without a doubt on the watch list. Roku reported earnings. Let's take a look at Roku on the daily chart. My goodness, delete all those drawings. That is a pretty boring daily chart. Volume did go up though, so that's good, but the after hour move was not really that pronounced. I like to see, wait, it did drop more than, so that's actually something. So it dropped about like 6-7% overall, going into $62. So let's see if it sets up with some good volume tomorrow pre-market. Looks like some volume did come into play on this name. So what happened? Up 17% year over year, 16% up on revenue, 1.02. Things are looking good in the first quarter. Roku partnered with Apple. Roku hitting 4.55 for the full fiscal year. Guidance 4.61. Is that the estimate? Down from the original. Okay. Company said it reaffirms platform revenue estimates of 3.95 for the full fiscal year. So Roku seeing its revenue being guided lower now from previous guidance. Roku expects second quarter platform revenue to grow by 14%. Device revenue expected to decline 10% year over year in the quarter. So a little bit of, I guess, future guidance being slashed is what brings the downside move. And I'm always ready to short Roku any opportunity I get. So looking to see if any pops, especially right into the 65 area. Usually these, for example, FSLR on its earnings day, or Snapchat, usually these after hour highs, this little consolidation highs that stocks make in after hours, they give you a really good short opportunity when they pop into that off the open. So I'll pop into 65 and no staying power above 65 off the open, possibly looking for a short back down on Roku for a move down into potentially right back into these after hour lows, and then maybe even greater. But if the stock is already opening lower somewhere in these areas, then automatically just short all pops in my opinion, because that's fairly weak and somebody is deciding to sell their position on Roku, and they're pretty big enough of a seller where you want to be ready to capitalize on that activity and ride it to the downside. So Roku on the watch list. Not sure if it's as high of a priority as Apple or Amazon. Airbnb, okay, this one making a downside move too. Almost all of the good names on the watch list tonight are making a move down. Team, Airbnb, Reddit was the only one that did go up, but it also got slammed right back down. So Reddit was kind of looking good for a little bit, but yeah, only while it lasted, right? Reddit right back to the downside, sadly. So some real good names over here to keep an eye on. So let's go to the next one real quick. Airbnb, the daily chart. I guess delete some of the drawings because I don't really need all of them anymore. Looks like you know, that's a declining 200-day moving average, declining 50-day moving average. So if this is not an indication that markets are not in a good position right now, I don't know what is. Airbnb, pretty obvious at this point. You know, downside move. You have a very similar idea as I just said on the previous stock around 120. So a pop and reject around 120 would possibly give me a good short opportunity back to 116. But really quickly gonna go scan what the earnings report is, and then pre-market will find out if it actually gives us some trades. The reason why I am not actually putting anything in my notes today is because I don't want to get to the point where I did today, because you know, I had things in my notes and I forced the shit out of those trades today, so I was very, very upset with myself. So I'm trying not to put anything in my notes right now. I get into work, you know, do the research on pre-market, and then be ready for the names, and then trade them with some patience, some calmness, and actually wait for setups. But some of the names that I'll be watching are these ones that I'm reading out to you at the moment. Airbnb being the next one. 0.24 per share versus 0.23, 41% decrease on EPS from 0.41 from same period last year. 2.27 billion beating estimates of 2.26. This is a 6.7% increase from same period last year, so that's a pretty big decrease on EPS, but a small increase on revenue on Airbnb. Not sure tariffs is going to cost Airbnb a lot of problems, but you know, tariffs going up, raising costs of other products. That means people have the same income, but you have to now pay more to buy the same things that you were buying previously, and you have less spending power. So now you don't have that extra money to potentially, I don't know, go get an Airbnb somewhere to go watch the lunar solar eclipse or whatever that happened last year, right? So things like that, you won't have extra spending power, and hence Airbnb could take a hit because of that in possible recession conversations if that comes back into play. But overall at the moment, I mean, it's still growth, but hey, market didn't like it, right? Market did not like their growth at all. Shares are trading after the company issued Q2 sales guidance with its midpoint below estimates. So the midpoint itself is below the estimate for the next quarter, and that also not being appreciated by the market gods. So staying under 120 tomorrow, ideally. Look to see what happens on Airbnb. Have you looked at the GRND Platinum Prad? What is GRND? Grinder? Pretty sure GRND is Grinder, right? Why would I look at Grinder? Oh my god. Okay. That is interesting. Interesting. What the heck? Why the heck? What's the news on Grinder? It's because Dieter has been, you know, meeting all these guys in Egypt. That's why he had to go to Egypt recently to go meet aliens. He had to go play with aliens. No, Dieter had to go play with a bunch of dudes in Egypt. And he paid Grinder. Look at the stock over here. Grinder absolutely booming. Insane. $23 coming into play. Not really an all-time high. All-time high is $71 on the stock. But pretty impressive rally over here. I mean, you can look at the 200-day moving average. I don't even know what Grinder's numbers are. Let's actually go take a look at their numbers. Or I could just ask Dieter, right? Because he probably spends all of his paychecks on Grinder. Dieter, how much do you spend a month on this website? I'm joking, Dieter. You know, it's all fun and games. So they are growing quite a bit. 39%, 33%, 33%, 32%. Not bad at all. Let's go check a couple other statistics over here. PE is not available, so they're not profitable yet, I believe. The latest short interest, 5.82 million, so not even a high short float. How much is their float? 4 billion market cap. Shares outstanding 200 million, so not like a small cap either. So it's moving fairly well. I'm interested to see if there was a specific news as to why the stock is going higher. But overall, my goodness, Grinder grinding it to the upside, and I knew it, Pratt. What do you mean I knew it? I'm not the one using Grinder. What do you mean I knew it? But you know, this stock has been monstrous. Whoever called it out, Barstool Bagel, shout out to you for calling this stock out. I mean, I'm interested to see what happens. This is, you know, very good for a first red day setup. If it actually comes into play, you know, even more extension to the upside would be perfect for a big first day setup. But that's a very good breakout, man. You know, that's a very good breakout above $20, and nice, slow, steady, calm move to the upside, holding the 5-day intraday moving average, and why did I say intraday? Holding the 5-day moving average, and just keeps on going higher. It still has to get below the previous day low. Right here kind of gets below the previous day low, but then immediately climbs back up, and is doing this on very light volume. So it's very interesting what's going on Grinder. Dieter says, I don't even know what they do. Yeah, sure, Dieter. I don't even know what they do. Sure. Okay. What a good excuse over there. Second period ending 2-1, baby. All right. Grinder is actually very interesting. I mean, the only setup I care about, I'm not really looking for a long when it's this extended to the upside. You know, I'm not looking for a long here, but it's also very slow and steady to the upside. So there could be some setups. If it does get higher, I would like a lot more volume on this one, but interesting for a potential mean reversion whenever it comes into play. Going back to the watch list, Airbnb, we talked about that really briefly. 120 is kind of the level that I'm keeping an eye out for. Reddit reported earnings, popped up first, and then completely rejected around 142.50 and pushed right back lower. So that is almost a tell right there, right? So 142.50 is a clear seller who you know, got aggressive in this area. Potentially even conference call was the reason why this pushed to the downside, and the 142.50 seller is like, ha ha ha, I'm the winner. For now you're the winner, 142 seller. We'll see if pre-market we're able to push back in this area, and if we're able to set up for some sort of a long on a breakout through 142.50 off the open. I would love to take that breakout on Reddit off the open. So expecting the pre-market to go back here, and then in the open we just kind of wiggle back and forth before 142.50, and then we burst right through to the upside. Would love to take that breakout on that stock. So for sure watching this one. I'm gonna quickly go ahead and color that one on purple, so I watch it tomorrow more off the open, but possibly downgrading it tomorrow from purple to something else based on what it does in the pre-market. TEAM, I know Barkit wanted TEAM for some TA. That's a pretty big move to the downside and potentially lower than the 200-day moving average. It is lower than the 200-day moving average, much lower. So once again, bearish move, right? Not a good thing to get below 200. Anytime a stock gives up to 200, it is instantly a negative thing. for long-term investors, for technical traders, and so on. So you want to be careful looking at that one as a buy now. And once you read the earnings report, maybe we'll find the reason behind it. It's also on a declining 50-day moving average, and nice little reject right from the previous earnings VWAP. It popped into the previous earnings VWAP and now pushed right back to the downside into 180. Wow, we are back here, right back into April lows. That is pretty ugly. So right back into almost April lows over here on this name, and not what you want to see, especially if you spent this whole time, slowly getting buyers to buy, get buyers to get in, reclaim the 200, and then the earnings move. You just see all these buyers just dump it and push it right back to the downside. So not the best thing to see if you are on the bullish side on this name. Let's go take a look at the report as to why that actually happened. Tumbling on, yeah, obviously. 1.36 versus 1.35, tiny beat. 97 cents per share versus 87 cents. Nice little beat over there too. Total revenue climbed by 14% year over year. Cloud revenue growth of 25% year over year. Generated 652 million in cash. Outlook, that's where this is probably gets shaky a little bit. 1.35 versus 1.36 versus 1.42. Miss. Company anticipates cloud revenue growth of 23% and data center growth of 16.5. Where is it? So that's dropping a little bit quarter over quarter. Okay. Marketplace and other revenue to be expected to be approximately flat. Also guided full year 2025 revenue to 5.19 versus estimates of 5.18. So full year's also full year's looking good, but just the next quarter not looking too hot, and the stock getting sold off about 17-18% at the time of the report to the downside of $888. So that's a pretty big move. Retracing all of April almost is not a good thing at all. So basically looking to short all pops on this name tomorrow. Like I mentioned earlier, that a couple two stocks where these after hour highs are actually good levels to keep an eye out for. So somewhere between 197 to 200, I'm looking to see if there's an opportunity to get short on this name. But chances are it opens up below that in the pre-market, and it opens up much lower, somewhere into 173. If it does do that, I might actually try to get long instead. If you guys remember my call out today or last night on a stock that was, I have to go back to my watch list to remember what stock it was. I can't remember it right now. It was, where was it? What stock was it? Was it here? It was 116 FSLR. Okay, yeah, it was FSLR. So on earnings day, FSLR, I was very interested to short this stock if it popped into the high end of the ranges and gave me a short. But if it went into the 116 areas, I was not looking to short it, and look what the stock does. On the earnings day, holds the after hour lows, never really pushes into 116, and then bounces. Snapchat also goes into that 750 after hour lows, never really gets below 750 and keeps bouncing. So I've just seen these patterns again and again so often. So you want to be careful looking to press short heavy if it does go back all the way into 170. But if it does pop into 190, into 200, and shows you selling into 200, I'm gladly looking to get short and ride it to the downside on that bad boy. FIVN, let's see what's happening over here. Nothing burger move, I guess, in the after hours, almost irrelevant at this point, so not sure if I even want to read the earnings report on that one. RIOT also reported earnings, but if I do want to trade a cryptocurrency earnings name, I think it's going to be MicroStrategy, honestly. So they reported earnings. Let's go read about this one. And if your name is Angry Buddha or Dieter, you might want to go watch something else for a little while, because you might not like what I'll be talking about over here. So let's read this awesome company's report really quick. Results in the first quarter on Thursday after the bell. Here's the look: 111 million, missing estimates of 115, adjusted loss of 16.53 per share. Total revenue was down 3.6% year over year. Subscription revenue came in at 37.1 million, up 6.16% over year. What subscriptions? Okay, whatever. I'm not even going to bother asking. Product licenses and subscription services revenue was up 23.6% year over year. Product services revenue were down 16.2%, and other services revenue declined by 15%. Strategy ended with the first quarter with 60.3 million in cash and equivalents, up from 38.1 at the end of 2024. Where is the outlook? Where is the strategy? Achieved a Bitcoin yield of 11% in the first quarter. Bitcoin yield was up to 13.7 as of April 28. Company reported a BTC gain of X amount of BTC and noted the number climbed up to 61,497 year to date. Strategy said it held a total of 528,185,000 Bitcoins as of March 31st. Acquired and I thought they just scored. Acquired an average of $67,000, 457 per Bitcoin. The company also announced that it is increasing its 2025 Bitcoin yield target to 25%, up from 15%. And we're going to do this by diluting the crap out of our investors. Bitcoin is now targeting 15 billion, up to what is a Bitcoin gain is being targeted to 15 billion, up from 10 billion. Strategy executives will hold a call. Strategy shares were at the time of the report, however, to the downside, but at the time of the report also, year to date, the stock is up 31%. So let's quickly go take a look at this great God-given stock, God sent, heaven sent stock, and heaven sent CEO that we just all love so much. I mean, technicals speak for themselves. When you look at a stock's technical, this is a beautiful chart, right? Holding 200-day moving average. My alert has yet to go off. I've been dying for this alert to go off to short it. I guess I'll remove the alert for now. I don't need it for now. But when it does go back, I'll gladly put it in. The technicals speak for themselves. Way better technicals than some of the large cap stocks. Amazon, Apple, all of them looking very weak. Apple's slope on the 200-day is already declining, and you can see how big of a slope on the 500-day moving average is for Apple. Not a good indication. So technically, Apple, horrible. MSTR, great. But logically sound, no, I don't think it is, and I will stick to my guns on that one. Big down move overall. I guess not a big down move, but a down move overall to start off with in the after hours. So I'm interested to short this name. As long as I get pops to short into this position, I'll gladly look to short this stock. The numbers itself are not great either, right? They are declining. They're losing 16.53 per share per quarter. That's a pretty big loss per quarter. Revenue is also down. So all things are looking bad. I guess subscription revenue is up on this name. So if that can hold up this name, I'll be surprised. This will be the first dislocation from Bitcoin's performance. So that will be the test tomorrow. The test will be, if you guys see Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin actually broke out of that little range that I was talking about, and MicroStrategy was following through with it. But because Bitcoin is now continuing to break out, or looking like it wants to continuing to stay above the range, you want to see MicroStrategy looking bullish along with it too. You could say MicroStrategy is a little overextended, so potentially some sideways action as Bitcoin goes higher and then MicroStrategy goes higher. But that is going to be still something that you got to keep an eye on, because if Bitcoin's going up, and you keep trying to short MicroStrategy tomorrow based off of their earnings, you might get hurt. But if tomorrow is the day where MicroStrategy is doing its own thing and it's not really following Bitcoin, then that might be the trade over there to keep an eye out for, because good little short opportunity brewing over here, because of how extended it is on the daily. Not too long ago it was like 350, 320. Now it's at 384, almost 400. So kind of insane rally. And the earnings report doesn't justify that rally. Only thing that justifies that rally is Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin doesn't help it out, then I don't think anything will help it out. But if Bitcoin does help it out, then you want to be very careful forcing your bias to the downside. If you don't have a bias to the downside, then enjoy the rally to the upside and get long, because Bitcoin is helping the stock out, and nobody cares about this earnings report at all. Right, so just an idea over there, and honestly, talking to myself when I say don't force the short, because knowing me and my hatred for the stock, I'm for sure going to force the short on this name. But if there's a setup, I'll trade it. That's all. If there's a setup, I'll trade it. Bradley Beal, can you take a look at HIMS, the dick pill company? Yes, we can take a look at HIMS as an investment or as a day trade. I mean, no matter how you look at it, the technical chart looks beautiful, right? It's holding the 50-day moving average, it's holding the 200-day moving average. Well, not the 50-day, but at least the 50-day is not an insane slope to the downside. It is a little bit of a slope down. The 200-day is still curved up. 200-day is holding. They had a new deal recently. The weight loss pills, the erectile dysfunction pills, and all kinds of stuff that they deal with. I think it's possibly worth buying the dip over here. I mean, your risk is very little, right? You're risking $5 per share, and if the bull market kicks back in, this is very easily going back into the high-end ranges. You saw where the stock went up to recently, not too long ago. So why not do something wild like that again if the bull market kicks back in? But if the bull market's not there at the moment, and we are in a bear market, you want to be very careful looking for any longs at this point, because this could very quickly go back down and sell off, and you don't want to be stuck with the bags, right? Palantir is potentially one that will retrace along with it. But Palantir is very strong stock, right? It's almost as close to MSTR in strength. It's actually a little bit stronger than MSTR in strength, but a name that you should always have on your watch list. As a day trader, as a swing trader, as an investor, Palantir has been wonderful on all three aspects. Some stocks that reported earnings recently, today or this week overall, Roblox, nice report. I think they actually grew on revenue. They don't make money yet, but they grew on revenue and on daily active users. A nice flat breakout on the daily chart, a dip and hold up that $67 area. So any dip into that 67 tomorrow again, I would love to look long on this position, but if it also starts to hold above 70 and then firm up above 70 tomorrow, potentially a move into today's high and then a bigger move above today's high if the market's bullish and so on. So Roblox is something to keep an eye on. CVS, I'm not sure I'm going to be that interested on this, because this looks very much like a failed breakout of this high, of this range. So failed breakout pushing right back to the downside. You could say today's low slash $70 could act as a support, but that is a failed breakout. If I'm a buyer in this range, I would love to have seen the stock break out, dip by, and then go higher, not go lower. So not looking good at all on the chart over there. Microsoft and Meta, I mean, we did get above the 200-day average above for both of them, but one of them actually gave it up, huh? Okay. We do get into the 200-day moving average, but I don't know how to really structure my thinking over here. Possibly we see some range contraction on the market, right? possible range contraction, some sideways on the market, and then either a breakout above or a breakout back to the downside. Some possible bad news takes us back down, some possible good news takes us back up. Apple, Amazon news obviously not good, so possibly doing this, but Meta and Microsoft news wasn't bad, and possibly doing that because of that. So very mixed news overall. I'm expecting the market to have a little bit of again, cool off period, create some sort of a range before it does something, before it decides where it wants to go to. But right here, short Apple. Apple is so screwed, as TH says. I think you're not wrong by thinking that, man, honestly. But the problem is, some of these other stocks are potentially going to try and hold up the market and not really sell off the market. So if Apple's doing its own thing, yes, short Apple. Coming back to Microsoft over here, today's move is a little bit negative. It's a big gap to fill also on Microsoft over here. I think a move to 200-day moving average is not out of the picture. I think a move to the 200-day moving average and a potential bounce off of that 200-day moving average is in the books. How long does it take to get down there, and how long does it take to bounce from there right back into today's high? I don't know about these answers, but I think something around that picture is in the permutation is for sure visible for me, and I'll be patient to see how that plays out. If the stock tomorrow is not able to stay above today's low, which is I think 425. What is today's low? 424.90. So if we're not able to find buyers above today's low, or if we gap down and pop and reject into today's low, that's a good short right there, right? Great short on a failure to reclaim today's low. So something like that is what I'll be keeping an eye out for a move into the 200-day moving average. But obviously I'm just looking for a day trade, so I'm looking for some sort of a day 2 sell-off opportunity. Meta, you can see how this all struggled quite a bit after it popped up to the north side. So same idea again. If it does gap down and the market is looking weak and things are not looking the best, if the market gaps down and Meta gaps down with it, looking for a pop to get short into. But this little buying opportunity over here that Meta has, that makes things a little bit murkier compared to Microsoft. That's why I like the Microsoft short a lot more tomorrow on that level here. And if we do reclaim today's low after we start the day below it, or in the pre-market or somewhere around anywhere, right? If we reclaim today's low, then I would love to look long also. Granted, the market looks bullish. I would love to get long also for a move into today's VWAP, or for a move into some of the resistance pockets that the stock made today. So some ideas over there for Microsoft and Meta to keep an eye out for. Robinhood, I think XYZ also reported earnings today. Oh my goodness, there's so many names that reported earnings. Why you gotta make my life so hard? Okay, let's actually delete FVIN. And we're gonna delete RIOT. Why am I gonna delete RIOT? I guess I can leave RIOT. MSTR day 2 play Prad. I kind of just talked about MSTR. It's not really a day 2 play because tomorrow would be day 1. Tomorrow would be earnings day 1, and I'm mainly looking short, but you want to be careful to see what Bitcoin's doing. If Bitcoin's going higher, then there are chances that MicroStrategy doesn't really have as much juice to the downside as much as you want from it. So you got to maintain your expectations. But if Bitcoin's not going, but if Bitcoin is going down and MicroStrategy is also going down, then hey, get short and ride that baby to the downside. So I am also, I'm very bearish on MicroStrategy. I'm overall bearish on MicroStrategy as it is. So, this move and this earnings report just makes me very excited. Qualcomm reported earnings today. They dropped to the downside. Looking for a day 2 trade. This would be a day 2 trade. MSFT day 2. You said MSFT. Yes, MSFT day 2 trade basically. I just talked about it, Barky. I'm not sure if you listened to it. Looking for some sort of a play around today's low, either a short around today's low or a long off of today's low, and I'm almost certain that today's low will be the main inflection level on Microsoft. Okay. Barky, you gotta pay attention. Stop making me repeat stocks that I've already talked about. Talking about coming back to, it's already 9 o'clock. I haven't even eaten my dinner yet. God damn it. How many stocks do we have here? Not too many. Okay. Hood reporting earnings. XYZ reported earnings. So Hood recently reported earnings, I think yesterday after hours. So this is day 1. So tomorrow would be day 2. So not really good, huh? Popped up and then sold off. I tried the $50 level today. That one hurt me, and it pushed a little bit lower. So possibly getting below 46 on Robinhood and staying below 46 on Robinhood could open up some downside on this name. So I'll put 46 as a level to keep an eye on. MicroStrategy, I can't remember what the level was. Microsoft was basically 425. Team Reddit. Damn, I should have typed in some levels, but I told myself I don't want to put levels in there because I don't want to give myself too much of a bias. Okay, Qualcomm. If I remember correctly, Qualcomm reported growth and guidance and everything in a good direction, but the stock got sold off. So hey, who am I to battle this? I did tell you yesterday, look for weakness around 140 to get short, or look for strength around 140 to get long. What did the stock do? It opened and stayed below 140 the whole day. So obvious short at that point. I talked about this yesterday on stream. So pretty obvious short. The fact that it stayed below 140. I actually managed to get that short from VWAP. I was looking for a bigger move down, but it basically double bottomed and popped right back into VWAP and then just traded sideways. Got a nothing burger. My only winner on the day really was Qualcomm today, and that's because I prepared for it. So preparing for stocks does help, but what doesn't help is where you forced a setup because of something that you prepared for. For example, Robinhood. Forced. Can't be forcing setups. Can't be trading off of ideas. You gotta have an idea, and then you need a setup to back that idea up for you, and that's what Qualcomm had for me. Very good example right there between what to do and what not to do. Robinhood, you had an idea, but there was no setup. Qualcomm, you had an idea, but you have a setup also. A setup is very important. Same thing for Microsoft tomorrow, right? You have an idea, 425. I think that level will be in play tomorrow, but you need to have a setup, a failed breakout, a failed reclaim, a successful hold, a support, some SMB setups. So something around that level and an actual setup around that level gives you a trigger entry, a stop, a good risk to reward scenario, a win rate probability, and tilts the scale in your favor a little bit. All those things need to match up for you. Qualcomm, important tomorrow. CEP, very important. This might actually be the backside. I don't know. This might actually be the backside on this name. It looks like it's a little overextended at this point. The 5-day moving average is at 37. The stock was at $14 at the end of April, and now it's at $59-$60. I mean, what are we talking about here? So tomorrow, I think this $53 area, $50 area right here where the VWAP is. So $52.50, $53 area. If the stock pushes into this level and rejects this price point, I think that's where it turns into a failure to follow through. I might have to revise a little bit on the failure to follow through setups. If I can quickly go through my notes here, investors underground, failure to follow through. So right here you can see how high a day, pullback, previous or the intraday support turns into resistance, that's the failure to follow through right there, where you basically want to be getting short. Here are a couple other examples of how that works, where the stock goes parabolic, the support turns resistance, so stock goes parabolic, stock goes sideways, it is not able to make a new high, so it's making a lower high, it's making a lower low. This is your risk area, and this is the retest. You can see how the previous support is turning into a resistance, and the retest area is where you get long, the risk area is where you get short, and that's where you enjoy the move to the downside. So failure to follow through. I think I was pretty accurate by saying that that's what the stock did over here. Previous support turning into resistance, and that's kind of what I want to look for tomorrow too. I want to see this 52.50 to 53 area turning into a resistance. I want to see also today's low getting below today's low, and today's low acting as a resistance also. So let's see if all these opportunities come into play tomorrow. A little extended on the daily, and some fun probably coming into fruition for us. Some fun probably setting up for us to take advantage of. How about I use words that I actually know how to use and not try to sound smart for you guys, huh? Tesla and the large cap stocks. I mean, I think Tesla at this point is looking very good for a breakout, but this is also it needs to be with the market, right? The market needs to sing the same song, and if the market's not singing the same song, I'm not sure this breakout's gonna do much. So keep an eye out for it. The earnings report wasn't too hot for Tesla either, so that might be a problem also. But just looking at the technical chart, that's the 200-day moving average. That's the range high. We're also consolidating really well before that range high, bouncing off the 9-day moving average on the daily chart. So all things, if you ignore the 200-day moving average, all things look great for a possible move higher. So you want to be ready to participate if that does play out. But at the moment, if I was to, if you have a gun to my head and you made me put a bet on either go long or short, I'm betting short. That's just me, because I don't think the China and the US deals are actually going in the right direction at the moment. You also had a little bit of a news scare about Elon Musk potentially being replaced as a CEO, but that ended up being a fake news and no real news behind it. But watching Tesla, Nvidia, watching it every day without a doubt. So these two names, I can't really tell you exactly what I'm gonna do with it. It's gonna matter with what 5-minute pattern sets up tomorrow on chart. With Tesla, it's a little bit more easier as to what I'm gonna do with it, because the chart is much cleaner. But with Nvidia, the chart's not really that clean. So it all depends on the 5-minute chart. It all depends on what the market's doing. It depends on what setups are actually available. If there is a quick 5-minute scalp setup, 2-minute scalp setup available, I might quickly take that scalp setup and make a quick $2-3 per share here, a quick $1.50 per share here, and walk away from that trade. So not really something to look for as a big picture trade, in my opinion, because that will come from your Nvidias and your Apples and Amazons today. Usually it's the Nvidias and Teslas that I'm trying to trade the big picture, because those are the super stocks that trade 300 million shares a day, that trade $6 to $7 ATR a day. But Apple and Amazon, these are the fresh new stocks, and they're giving us some new ranges to play with. Amazon not as much, but Apple. So that's where these names now come into play. It's all about trading the stocks that are in play. Palantir pulling back a little bit potentially. Still very bullish, but getting ready to pull back with the rest of the market here. So that makes things a little exciting. If Palantir stays below yesterday's low, then potentially a move down back into 110 for us to take advantage of. So for sure, something to keep an eye on. If the market's weak, Palantir is for sure high priority for me over there to take advantage of. SMCI actually bounced. Okay, I'm pretty surprised. I didn't think it would. SMCI going back up a little bit, but I don't think I'm going to be trading that one at all. The two small cap stocks that are more important to me than SMCI are KIDZ and ZCAR. These stocks have gone a little wild today. ZCAR potentially the failure to follow through setup coming into play somewhere around $10 tomorrow. So for sure watching ZCAR, and then also watching but ZCAR cost to borrow was pretty expensive, so I'm not sure I'll even be able to short the stock if it's not cheap to borrow the stocks or locate the stocks, they call it. So I'm not sure if I'll be able to short this name tomorrow. But the KIDS, something to keep an eye out for. And on top of that, there's a bunch of other small cap names that I'm going to be watching. KIDS looks like it wants to go right back into the SPAC merger prices that it was once at, which is basically $10. It's almost back there, you know, after hours at $8, $9. So I wouldn't be surprised if it does go back into the SPAC merger prices that it was once at. I'm not even sure what the SPAC it was. That's pretty, and this happened recently. Okay. But yeah, that is the watch list. I'm pretty sure there is no IPOs. There is one next week for us to talk about. So that's going to give me nothing to... Oh, there is an IPO today. Oh, that's a SPAC, so that doesn't matter for now. But yeah, IPO next week. We'll talk about that on the 7th of May. Make sure you tune in for that one. And for the econ calendar, let's go see if Friday's econ calendar is looking hot. Ooh, we do got something for Friday's econ calendar. Usually a little dead, but something hot over here. 8:30 average hourly earnings. Non-pharma payrolls, U6 unemployment rate, factory orders, private non-pharma payrolls. So the 3-star events, basically unemployment rate, non-pharma payrolls, and average hourly earnings. All of them at 8:30. All of them at 8:30. So those are the important numbers right there. If these numbers help the market go lower, then Amazon and Apple would just kind of become that much of a higher priority to short tomorrow. And if Bitcoin starts to sell off because of that, then MicroStrategy becomes a little bit of a higher priority to short tomorrow. If Microsoft starts to look weak below today's low, then that looks like a high priority to get short for a day 2 trade over there. So a bunch of ideas to look for if these numbers help the market move down. But if these numbers help the market move up, then you have Microsoft and you have Meta that reported well that you could look to get long. You have Google, you have Tesla that could potentially have a chance to break out. So a lot of trades setting up tomorrow. Don't get discouraged that you think the market is going sideways. I think there'll still be a bunch of trades, and we still got a little bit of volatility. Let's actually go check where the VIX is. It's no longer at 60, it's at 24, but still good volatility over there for us to down 60% from the most recent highs. Still good volatility though, if you ask me, for us to wrap up the week, wrap up what was a banger April and what seems to be not so good May so far, but hopefully we can turn that around. The month just started and it's time to not trade the way I did today and trade like I did all of April. So let's do that instead. It's time to call it a night. I wish you guys the best. Catch you guys next week. Have a great weekend. Spend some time with your family and slay the market. TraderPrad out. Peace. Trade off of get ready for the watch list for tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm gonna bring in my big screen over here, back to another brand new week of After the After Hours with your host TraderPrad. I'm doing great. Hopefully you guys are joining me on that great side. Markets are moving around. Might just be a risk on type of day, so let's see what happens. 8 o'clock tomorrow. As you guys know, we do the stream Monday to Thursday, 8 p.m. Shout out to my affiliate sponsors, Benzinga, Trade Ideas, the #1 scanner to go to, TraderSync, promo code down below, promo code PRAD15 to get 15% off. I will catch you guys tomorrow, 8 o'clock, same time, same place. Until then,
TraderPrad out. Adios.